that up because if you do that, don't beat yourself up. Just get back into the habit. It's really easy to say, I should have gotten back into working out after, or I should have done this after. And I know I stopped doing it, and I should have done it. I should have kept doing it. Shoulda, 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 shoulda. Doesn't matter. Throw it out. In therapy, they say shoulda, coulda, woulda, 3 paths to despair. Okay? So you find yourself saying those things, throw it out, start over. It's okay. It's okay. Just let it go if you can. If you can't, get a coach or a therapist. We'll help you out. All right. I already did yours out. It's done. I'm doing things backwards today because I'm so excited. You're such a good group. I just get right into it. All right. So next we're going to get addicted. 3,000 to 6,000 thoughts a day. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? How many of you thought you had 2? Oh man, when I heard this number, and some people say it's as high as 15 or 20. I'm like, I just can't imagine that I have that much space. But maybe I do. I don't know. It's a lot of thinking though. All right. 80 to 90% are negative for most of us. And you know why? Anybody? No? Okay. Maybe you haven't been to my seminars before. All right, here's why. How many of you know that there was a time we had to run away from lions and tigers and bears? Yeah. Lions and tigers and bears. There was a time when we lived at risk. Yes? How long has it been? I don't even know. Since that's been a problem for most of us.
150 years.
150 years. I mean, there are still countries maybe where that's an issue, but in general, unless you're out mountain biking or running out in the woods, a cougar's probably not going to bite you or something like that, okay? So it's been a long time since we've had a lot of physical danger, okay? But back then, physical danger and threats of starvation and finding water and housing, all those things were huge in our lives. And so we became really good at surviving. But to be really good at surviving, you have to be really good at spotting problems. Danger. Exactly. You have to be really good at spotting danger. Is that a positive? No. In fact, it's training you to think pretty negative, isn't it? It's teaching you to stay focused on the things that might hurt you. Okay? So now we're in a world where we don't really come across that often. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. Everybody's been cut off, right? I just got fired. Whew. Okay? So we do occasionally use that system, and it does work, and we need it. We need it to save ourselves sometimes. But it was training that's not beneficial anymore, because how long do our stressors last now? Anybody have stressors? Huh?
I mean, they can be always there.
They can be there forever, right? I mean, you know, it's hard to be a parent, so you might feel stressed being a parent even, you know, all the time trying to balance work, kids, husband, wife, whatever, trying to keep that balance, right? So we end up with these long-term stressors, and our system stays turned on a lot. But we're not meant to stay on all the time. We're meant to see the danger, handle it, let it go, and move on. So now we live in a place where they don't go away. You know, if you have trouble with your bills, they're not going away. Unless you get a windfall of money, and then you probably have new problems. Okay, so that's why we have so many negative thoughts in our head. Okay, and that's why it's a challenge to learn to overcome it. But it is possible to overcome. Some people are really good at it and are good at it from when they were kids and on up, and we thank God for them because they probably help us all. But then the rest of us, we have to learn it. We have to become experts at it. All right? So the rest are either neutral or positive. Oh, what a shame, right? We were hoping they'd all be positive. All right. And our survival depended on it. I already talked about it. And it did. And that makes sense now, right? It makes sense why we do this. So, okay, now we know why. We can let it go. Okay? You don't have to beat yourself for negative thinking. Remember, oh, I had to do this. This is something we evolved to do. Now we're evolving in a new direction. Okay? So, let's become experts in thinking. Well, you guys like that, huh? I like to throw in something funny at least once in a while. I said I was a goofball. All right. How many of you hope to God your brain's not that small? That's teeny. All right. So learn to notice your negative thinking. All right. Now the priority in this is not just to notice, but to be gentle with yourself. Because often we start to notice our negative thoughts, and this is why I say we pick up the bat, okay? And we get mad at ourselves for having negative thoughts. We got to let go of that. It's not beneficial. It actually keeps us in the loop. If you hadn't noticed, when you get mad at yourself for having negative thoughts, then you actually are in negative thoughts, and then you can't get out. You're like, it's one big, huge loop. So you want to notice the thoughts. Notice that you're maybe going in a direction you don't want to go. Like say your business is not going the direction you want to go, and it's hard to get back on your goals and back on being positive about it. But you don't get mad about that. Notice, oh, things aren't going and flowing the way I want. Notice it. Okay, be gentle, and then change how you talk to yourself about it. Because you're going to up your chances of your path changing if you talk differently to yourself, okay? It's like getting up in the morning. If your day sucked in the morning and you keep saying, my day's going to suck, it's going to suck the rest of the day. But if you decide at that point, I'm going to change how I feel and think about this, you can change the direction of your day. It's the same way with things like our business, our kids even. You know, I don't have any of my own, but I get to raise nieces and nephews. And unfortunately, I didn't get the fun years. I got the teen years. Yeah. And let me tell you, I remember saying things, you know, when I was a kid, I'll never do that to my kids. And then here I am to the 16-year-old. You know, I'm not even going to get into it because it would take too long. And then I'm like, oh, man, I promised myself I wouldn't do that. But that's when you notice, and you have to be gentle. Like, okay, I noticed. Now, what do I want to do next time? How do I want that to look the next time I engage him in that? Like getting him to cut the lawn. Oh, you know, that's all I ask. Can you just cut the lawn? Oh, can't even get him to cut the lawn. Then I end up on the floor.